Hi guys, I am so happy. So testimony time. God will turn your test into a testimony. I didn't even know it was a test until right before I made this video. And I'm like, okay, God, this was a test. I am free. I'm free, yet still healing. So think about the metaphor in that. Okay, you know, like we go through mental healing, and things manifest in the physical. So I have gone through mental healing for such a long time, psychological healing, and because when we experience trauma and different things, stuff happens, and the enemy, you know, there's usually wounds, spiritual wounds, and then they can turn into physical wounds and physical sicknesses and ailments. But anyways, I'm free. Literally, friend, the wound vac is gone. This is my box of like all the stuff that I would need when the nurse would come. You know, we would lay out this mat and she would change my wound vac, the foam that would go inside my wound. She packed me with this stuff. So this is a thin strip. Like my wound is getting so small that I just have strips packed inside, but it's the outer hole has gotten so small. It's like that, but yeah, it's still kind of deep, but it's still narrow. It's narrow. I would cut a strip and it would connect to the foam on the inside, and then tape would go over it, and then the wound vac, this thing, it would be connected to it, so it would get the fluids out. You guys, I made a video yesterday. It's not on TikTok, but I was just so emotional, vulnerable, discouraged, yet hopeful, but just like tired, you know, feeling sick, just all the things. And then suddenly in one day, I'm free. That's what God does. That's what our God does. I knew it was coming, but like for it to actually be off of me, I feel like I could go running. That's probably why God had me still attached, because I've always been known to overdo because, I mean, personally, I just want to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, showing up the way I'm supposed to be showing up, taking care of things that, you know, that we should be taking care of, right? But I did have a dream a couple weeks ago on the trail running, and that's what I long to do. And because God gave me that, even though I had a bad day yesterday, but it was good because God was there for me, and I was able to release my burdens and then share, and hopefully it'll help somebody else. But I knew that God had shown me that I'm going to be running again. And then about a week after my dream, my daughter was like, Mom, you're going to run 3 miles with me. And so she started cross country this year. And it was just unexpected, you know, but God, the way God put her into this cross country thing, it was just like he spoke to us, like me and her, on the same day through seashells and keep running. And it was like words that were on a van, and it said keep running, and then there were seashells. And then we went to pick up her school uniforms, and in the outside of the place was a whole bunch of seashells. And so it was like God was just saying, Sophia, keep running. And she wanted to give up, but God had her running. And now she went through that season while mommy went through this hard time, couldn't walk or run. And I wanted to run with her, because parents were invited to walk and run on a trail with their kid at one point in time. And I was just so discouraged. Like, I want to do this with my daughter, but she was able to go out there and conquer that herself. And now we can do it together. So God always works things out for his beloved and his chosen, his loved ones, those who want to be obedient to him, those who want to follow him, those who love him. The Bible says, if you love me, you will obey my commandments. So don't be deceived. If you love God, you will obey his commandments. And that's how you can discern real Christians from false ones. If you see people that are not obeying commandments, but they claim to be Christian, that's just a red flag. Not to condemn, but just to know, because, you know, if you're going to know who to follow, who to hang out with, who to glean from, who to learn from, you don't want to be deceived and on the wrong path. So it's very important to know the fruits of true Christians and those who are really not walking with God yet. I'll say yet. But yeah, so look what God did overnight, and God can do that for you in your situation. Just wait a little longer, hold on a little longer. Don't lose the faith. Now, I will say, I have to get this thing changed out every day now instead of every couple of days. So my husband's going to have to actually do that. And so, but yeah, and I see the doctor tomorrow, and she'll actually confirm that I can do this. Hopefully. I can't see her saying, like, you need to be on the balloon back. So, but yeah. All right, guys, I just had to share that testimony. If you're in the test, it's going to be a testimony. And if you're going through something, it is a test. Pass the test, okay? If you want to get a C, a B, or an A, just pass the test. But don't get a D, okay? We'll say a D is failing. We'll just say that, because you don't need to get a D. You don't need to get a D. That's how it is in nursing school, medical school. You cannot get anything below a C. So, yes, God is gracious, but listen, pass the test. Pass. Okay? God bless.